Hari Om. My name is Brahmacharini Vibhooti Chaitanya. I am very privileged to share some time with you. And as you all have been saying, Q&A session, nice. But before that, I would like to tell a brief story about myself so that you will be able to connect with me, knowing me as I am. Of course, you can't know me totally, but at least the introduction is good enough. So, at this time, as this personality, 63 years old, okay? I don't want to say I am 63 years old because I am a Vedantin. I am not the body, yeah? I mean, anyway. So, I was born on the 9th of September, 1948. I was born in Tanzania, East Africa. I was born in a family of Gujarati parents where we are 7 sisters and 3 brothers. So my father was not fond of cricket, but we made a good team of 12. I did up to high school studies in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and then we moved to India. I did my final year of school as an external student because there was no English medium school in Saurashtra at that time. Well, okay, then I did my first 4-year degree studies at St. Xavier's in Ahmedabad. After I graduated with English and psychology as a double major, I moved to England. I stayed in London from 1973 till 85. There also, I worked full-time and got a diploma in business administration, studying part-time. I had a good job. I was a collector of taxes, the bad guy. And then I was a British citizen. One incident happened when I was 26. My mom, my dad, some of the biological family members, they were in India. My 2 brothers, they were in Tanzania still. And a couple of sisters were married. They were in Kenya and Australia and like that, spread out. But when I was 26 and lived by myself in London, suddenly I heard that my mom died, you know. And I was very protected until I moved to London. And although she was one of those ladies who never went to school, never learned how to read and write, she was self-taught. So she learned how to read and write Gujarati. And she used to write letters to me. That much love she had for me, although I was the middle child. Take care of your health, this and that. And then suddenly she's dead. And I'm thinking, what does it mean? Am I not going to see my mom ever again? Oh, this is just not acceptable. Cry, cry, cry. 3 months. And then I had this question, so now what happens to a person after death? And I became a voracious reader of metaphysics. In London, at that time, during the 70s, I didn't know many Indian people there, and I didn't have connections where I could go and get counseling, spiritual counseling. Well, anyway, I learned so much about metaphysics and the journey of the soul and this and that. My curiosity was satisfied, and I was very ambitious, so I kept on working and studying. And then in 85, my second brother, who had settled in the US, he sponsored for me, so I migrated to the US. I lived in New Jersey for 5 years. I worked full-time and went to college at night and got my second 4-year degree in business administration, business management, BSc. And then I got promotion working for an insurance company. I shifted to Washington, D.C. Again, I was studying to get my MBA. And I had a good job. I had my own property. I had a car. I had a wonderful circle of friends. Everything seemed to be going truly well. And then, incidentally, when I moved to New Jersey from London, I stayed with my brother for 1 year. After that, I moved out. I was very independent. I liked to live on my own. My brother's mother-in-law lived with them, so she was like my mom. And I cultivated that connection with her so that we really got along very well. Time moved on, and in 1997, when I was just about finishing with MBA, I was visiting my brother during summer, and Ba, as we call the grandmother, she passed away, and I was right there. So it was like a revisit of the death of my mom. Remember, when I was 26 and my mom died, I never got a chance to see her before death or after the death. I didn't get a chance to go to the funeral. But here was Ba, and I was already, at that time, 47 years old. I got a chance to help bathe her, dress her body, take her to the crematorium, and then a priest came there who was giving a talk on Bhagavad Gita. And he was telling about the journey of the soul. And it was like, this is what I want to know. I've been waiting to learn more about this. And I was praying to God, please, please give me an opportunity to learn more about this journey of the soul. And so life went on for 2 more months. Then I visited my sister. My youngest sister had gotten married, and she was living in Pennsylvania. She had cancer. And so I was telling her, why don't we go out? I want you to really enjoy. And she said, okay, we'll go to one temple here. She took me to the Langhorne Center of Chinmaya Mission. Remember, until then, although I knew about Bhagavad Gita and I knew how to do chanting and this and that, I didn't know what's Vedanta. I didn't know much about the scriptural teachings and all that. So when I went to the Chinmaya Mission there was this Swamini sitting there. I asked her, how did you become a Swamini? And she said, why do you want to know? And I was dressed like you guys, you know. I was very slim. I used to color my hair. I used to have gray hair since the age of 24, but I used to color. I used to look much, much younger. Anyway, and so my attire and my demeanor made her think like, why is she asking? Is she serious about it, or she's just making a small talk? So anyway, I said, I want to know. You know, I want to study. And she said, okay, give me your address. I'll send you the form. So 6 weeks later, when I was in Washington, D.C., she sent me the form. And then I learned that there's a Chinmaya Mission Center in Washington, D.C. So I visited there, and Mrs. Darshana Nanavati happened to be conducting a Balvihar teacher's training session there, and I attended that, and I was blown away. I want to learn more about this. And then Swami Dhirananda also helped me to learn about the course, and I applied. But the criteria for admission to the Vedanta course is you have to be between the age of 18 and 35. And I was turning 48. I said, forget it. I'm not going to get a chance. Swamiji said, no, you got to go and see Guruji. You just have an interview, then see what happens. Well, I'm telling you, when your heart is set onto something and you really pray for it, the doors start to open up. It just so happened that my nephew was getting married, and he invited me to go with him to India. That was February of '98. And I sought an appointment with Guruji. He said, yeah, come to Mumbai. So I went to Mumbai. He interviewed me. He said, yeah, join the course. I said, yeah, right. But you know what? I was supposed to prepare for my dissertation for the MBA. And there was a question of, what should I do? Do I go here or should I go there? What do I do? What do I do? Anyway, after the interview, I was waiting at the entrance of the ashram. And Guruji was going out to give talk. And he saw me and said, come with me. So I went with him. And when I listened to his discourse, how many of you have heard Guruji talk? Well, there you know. When you listen to him, once you listen to him, you can't have had enough. You have to have more of that talk. And I was really sold out. I said, this is it. I'm not going to really worry about my MBA. I came back. I got rid of everything. I didn't worry about my MBA. I joined the course. I remember I come from a family where I've got my elder brothers. I used to consult with them when I would buy a car, a condominium. Any major decision, I would consult with them. This time, I did not consult with them. I just told them I'm going to the ashram. And they were like, we don't want to talk to you. You didn't consult with them. You didn't ask for our permission. But then, you know, like all the parents, I mean, they were like my parents. My father and mother were dead by then. So then they came to the ashram to see what I was up to. And when they saw what I was doing and that I was happy, they were happy for me. And then I did the course. This was the 11th batch. This was during the period 98 to 2000. After I graduated, Guruji posted me in London for 1 year because I was a British citizen. Then we had the 50th anniversary of Chinmaya mission. So I was posted back in Mumbai to help prepare for it. I was there for 7 months. It was a grand success. There were 14,000 people living under a dome for 2 weeks together. You know, it's wonderful, really good. And we are going to have another one coming up in 2015 in Hyderabad, our centenary celebrations. And so guys, be prepared for that. It's going to be even grander than that. Anyway, that's besides the point. Then after that celebration, I was in LA for 2.5 years. Then I came to Chicago. I was there for 1.5 years. For the last 6 years, I was in Mumbai. And destiny would have it that I have been reposted in Chicago now. So I have come here, I've been here since last August. I went to wind up everything back in Mumbai because I had a room there. I just came back 2 days ago and here we are. That's the end of my beginning. And the story goes on. So please shoot now. QA. I thought you'd be very eager to ask questions. Yes.
So you just stopped doing your MBA? Are you working here anymore, or are you just part of Chinmaya?
Yeah, now I'm serving full-time with Chinmaya Mission. I let go of the desire to be a certificate holder of Masters in Business Administration. That was too trivial for my pursuit. You know what? In the beginning, one would think so. My brothers, especially, they were very upset because whatever educational pursuit I put my mind to, I always accomplished well, so to speak. And they thought how foolish that I left it off when I was just heading towards the end of it. But you know, you come to the crossroads and you know, there is that picture you would find, there are so many arrows, one going this way, and then you don't know which way you want to go. I had that situation, but I contemplated a lot and my heart told me this is what I want. And I followed that, and I had not an iota of regret. Don't believe that everything has to be very smooth for us to be able to not regret anything. The way it works is that if you put your heart into something and follow it wholeheartedly, knowing that that's what you want for your whole life, whatever challenges come on the path, you would be able to meet with gusto and no qualms, really. Most of the time, like Swami Sharanananda, he has been posted here for the last 18 years. And look at me, I've been with the mission 12 years, and I've been to 4 centers so far. So the journey of each individual is different. It's just, you have to remain focused in what you want and hold on to that goal no matter what. You have to be clear about it. There's no regret then, Yeah. Did everyone hear the question? Whether did I get a proper closure because of the facing of the second death to the figure of mother in my life? Did I get a appropriate closure? And did it motivate me to go for the Vedanta studies, or whether I escaped the reality to not face it? Is that what you're asking? Right. I didn't really pursue anything to get a closure as such. I didn't think about it like that. But in a way, yes, it did give me a closure. On the contrary, I would also say that I'm ever so grateful to my mother that even in death, she served as a catalyst to help me to grow and go to the path which is helping me to be happier than I would have been otherwise. So I'm most grateful that she taught me to follow life in a deeper way, even in death. Yeah? Yes, please.
Do you think that there are different challenges for women on the spiritual path than for men?
No doubt. Yes, there are. Well, the reality of life is such that the two species, man and woman, are looked upon in a very traditional and dogmatic way, in a way. And I used to be very radical, so to speak. As I told you, I was very independent all the time. So coming to the mission and following the path as I have been doing, I have experienced that it's easier for men to be accepted and for them to be able to fit in. And remember, it's not just other men who are doing that. More of it is because other women are doing that. It's very amazing. But women like to idolize men more than women would appreciate other women. But I cannot make a sweeping statement because I experience the amount of love that is available here. This is my second visit here. Remember, I've been reposted here. And the amount of welcoming hugs and the love that I'm getting here has made me understand that it doesn't have to be a barrier, that men are easily accepted and they are able to pursue the paths more easily. But somehow I do notice it's a reality of life that even here in Chinmaya Mission West, except for certain brahmacharinis who are in white clothes, there aren't any except for Brahmacharini Aparna Chaitanya. And that's me. And there was another Brahmacharini in Boston. She has gone back to India because she's taking care of her parents, you know. It's not easy. It's not easy. For me, in a way, there is a bigger challenge because of my age. I don't take it as a problem. I take it as a sweet challenge, you know. It makes life more interesting. I don't carry that word in my dictionary. Problem? Mm-mm. Challenge? Yeah, that's good. Uh-huh.
What were some of the greatest things that you learned about the journey of the soul, as you said, that helped you focus for the message?
So, what is the actual question? What was the?
What were some of the greatest things you learned about the journey?
You know, I learned the most fascinating and liberating fact I learned is that we all wear the garb of a male or a female, but the soul doesn't have a gender. That is the profound fact that I learned. So this time in my journey of life, I have chosen to be a woman. But when I take birth again, I am a firm believer in the reincarnation, that I need not necessarily be born as a male or a female. I could be a divine entity without the physical male and or female body. There is a lot to learn about the journey of the soul. It cannot be concluded within this kind of format. But the spirit lives forever. It doesn't die. That's why Gurudev says every body dies, but nobody dies. You see? So we have to remember that. It makes you fearless. I'm able to face the challenges because I have been able to understand that what's the worst case scenario in any scenario. After I learned Vedanta, I have not had a need to drive, but if I were to drive and I were stuck somewhere, I would say, what's the worst case scenario? I would just have to abandon the car and go somewhere and get a ride and go back home, you know. But you must not feel stuck at any time thinking that, oh my God, is that the end of the world? What am I going to do? I'm never going to die, you know. And one day I'm going to die anyway. So what's the big deal? I know everybody says, I don't mind dying. I'm not afraid of dying. I just don't want to be maimed. I don't want to be handicapped. I don't want to be dependent, you know. Don't think about all this. Just live the life. Live one day at a time. Live wholesomely and live wholly. Everything starts to happen.
I know that, like, for our generation, it seems difficult. Like, I think I've just heard a lot of parents and sort of family members in India say, for like the Americans born and raised Indian, like things are different. There's more distractions. There's more technology. And so I just kind of want to ask you, like, what piece of advice do you have to give us? Because in a way, when they say, like, the American born Indian, they see, I think that there's like a bit of truth to that. But what kind of advice can you give to our generation as we live?
Advice to your generation in what aspect?
Just like spiritually, I suppose, but I mean, sort of to combat this perception of.
What other people think about you? Look, really, you can't stop people thinking about others. There's a very beautiful Indian movie song, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना, छोड़ो बेकार की बातों को, बीत न जाए रहना. It means it's the job of people to yap and gossip and talk about things. It's just that's the way humanity is overall, generally. And no matter whether you do a good thing or a bad thing, there'll always be some comment, you know. So it's good to remain focused and grounded within yourself, knowing what it is that you are trying to do in your life. Second point, nobody is perfect. I, as the spirit, am perfect. But as a human being, I am born because I have to learn lessons, and therefore we are pursuing the path of evolution. Okay? But nobody is perfect. So who is trying to really have an upper hand? And what makes you have an upper hand? Your knowledge, your body, your mind, your intellect, what? What are you so proud about? You know? If you want to be proud of who you are within yourself. Be proud of your parentage, good things that you do in life, you know. But, and then dedicate everything to God. You know, sublimation is what you guys are going to learn through the chapter 4. What does it mean to sublimate? Is to not carry any notion about you as a person doing things. You are only instrument, we all are instruments of God doing His work. So if we are instruments, why should we be worried about what other people think about us? We have to be clear as to what kind of instruments we are choosing to be, good or bad. Rama chose to be a good instrument. Ravana chose to be a bad. Even then, in death, Ravana was liberated because he was always thinking about Rama, although viciously. You know. We are only instruments. It's our choice what kind of instrument we want to be. The last point I would say to all of you is that don't allow externalities to inhibit you. If you are inhibited, be inhibited by your own limitations and try to remove those limitations one at a time. Don't allow those things to overwhelm you. If you are learning to meditate and learn to do mind management, be assured your mind is going to guide you the right way. All we need to do is to cultivate a right attitude, right values, and have the right goal. Once you have the correct, right goal, you have the right attitude, and you have got the right value system, you simply cannot go wrong. And what does it mean to be going wrong? Making a mistake? It's not a mistake, it's only a lesson. Don't be afraid. There is Acharya Vivek, there is me, there are other Swamis. Your inner self is your best guide. When you meditate and look within, you will find the answer. Be assured. And life cannot be just a smooth path. There have to be obstacles, because without the obstacles, we cannot learn to be adventurous and sporty. Am I right? So we need to learn to be sporty, and when we are sporty, we have to learn to accept winnings and losing. Okay? When we are playing a sport, we are not going to win all the time. But a true sports person is the one who shakes hands and says, "Good job, congratulations." And when you win, submit it to God and say, "Thank you for giving me this ability to do the right thing," and doing it well. Yes, please. When I'm losing, how should I take life? Be grateful for the loss. That sounds bizarre, doesn't it?
To be honest with you, it's the worst feeling in the world after you lose and you put out so much effort. You do everything according to plan, and then you lose. It's the worst feeling.
You see, there is a very beautiful text called Upadesha Sara. It is written by Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi, who was a realized soul in the last century. He says, Kartru Ragyaya Prapyate Phalam Karma Kim Param Karma Tajjadam. What it means is that it's our job to do the best we can. But God has given us the intellect with which we understand that the result of every action is not always going to be exactly the way we anticipate. It's 50-50, right? Destiny also plays a role in that. Self-effort and destiny, these are two wings with which our life flows. So when you find that in spite of your best efforts, you have lost, there is a lesson to be learned through that loss. And if we have true faith in God and we wait, we will find that behind each loss, there is a better situation to be had after the loss has been overcome. Because it was not meant to be for you. Let me tell you something. Let me give you an example. When I left Chicago 6 years ago, I was told by Guruji, you can come and stay at the ashram. I went to stay there. If you were to meet with any of my batchmates, during the course, I was one of the most senior ones, and being intellectually oriented, being a true seeker, and I'm not just saying I was the only true seeker, but I was so fired up to know the journey of life and Vedanta that after every lecture, our Acharya would ask, is there a question or two? My hand would be up and I'd be asking questions. And initially they all used to make fun of me because I used to ask questions. But then they started to feel like, they started to tell me, through your questions we are learning so much, So I was not a dumb student. I was a brilliant student. And it just so happened that I had to undergo shifting from one place to the other to the other. And remember, I started the journey of Vedanta mission after the age of 50. So in the beginning, I used to feel like a loser. After staying for 1 year in Mumbai, I was shifted to Los Angeles. And after 2.5 years in Los Angeles, I was moved to Chicago. And I was like, what's wrong with me? I'm not good. And I used to feel very, very discouraged, And we all go through that. But I had faith in God, and I was wedded to the mission. And I had Guruji with me. I just surrendered to them. And when we surrender to God and Guru, we are guided to the right path and we become stronger from within to face the realities of life, knowing that everything is nothing but a passing show. It's not like if we don't have that, we are going to have nothing more in life. You win some, you lose some. That attitude has to be cultivated. Everything cannot be had by us just the way we want it. So then and believe me, I'm not just making this up or saying it for the sake of you to have some interpretation, but because I have lived most of my life abroad, there were many people who thought I will not survive my life in Mumbai. But I lived and I thrived for 6 years, to the extent that just now when I went for 1 month, people really were in tears because I was leaving. And it's not like I want to boost my ego to say, wow, I'm so good that they really are going to miss me. It's not that. It just shows that if you share love, people will love you back and life is worthwhile. when you share love. Other things are not that important, you know. When you were little, you really lost your toy and you lost your balloon and you cried so much. And when you look back, don't you laugh? How silly of us to be holding on to those little things and give so much importance to it. A time comes when you realize that nothing of that is so important, really.
If you could go back in time, what would you tell yourself when your father died? Like, what would you tell yourself to make you feel better when you're grieving?
If I could go back. I'm still trying to clarify it myself. What is your question? I'm sorry.
Now that you know Vedanta, if you go back in time and speak to yourself when you were grieving about your mother, what advice would you have given to yourself to make you be able to cope with it?
Oh, of course, it's such a simple answer, and it's brilliant. That my mom has just gone from one location to another because her contract of life has been finished here. So she's progressing. The soul is progressing. She was here with me only to take care of the family. She owed it to us, and we owed it to her to be together. That was the time she needed to spend with us, and time is over. She has to go forward, That's really it. I have not really shed any tear once I understood what life is all about and what's the meaning of the journey of the soul. Yeah. Death is not the end. Death is just, I don't want to be too philosophical about it, but it's like really, really changing one dress to another. The soul wears this dress of a human garb and leaves it behind, and then depending upon what other lessons it needs to learn to evolve, it takes another set of clothes. Yes, please. My favorite shloka is in chapter number 18. Where Lord Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya, mamekam sharanam vraja, aham tva sarva papebhyaha, mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. It's the conclusion of the entire Bhagavad Gita. You don't want me to give the explanation of it. There are some other questions. Well, why don't you want to? Now see, even if you want to go and study Vedanta, one of the requirements is that you have to have a 4-year degree. Sorry? It's true. It's true. You have to be 18 years old plus. You have to have a 4-year degree. You have to be fluent in English, unless you want to go and study it in Hindi or in Tamil. Well, Chinmaya mission is very accommodative. You don't have to be a residential student in Powai, Mumbai. to study Vedanta, there are some day scholars who come there. They just have to register and pay minimum fees, and they come during the course studies. They study, they listen to the discourses, and then they go back doing their own things, We also have short courses in glimpses of Vedanta. We call it Dharma Sevak course. We have Yuvavir course, which has been completed by our Shabanaji here. There is another person whom I met who has done 1 year's Vedanta course in PRC last year. You can study, even by listening to the discourses like this, coming to the study classes, you can learn Vedanta. It's a personal journey, Where there is a will, there is always a way, honestly. The answer to your question lies in the shloka that I just mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. You can get advice from many, many people, but they cannot live your life for you. You are the one who is leading your life, right? So, by getting 3 opinions, you can sort of make out what is the best essence of those advices that can be applied to your own life. Also, you need to go to the right kind of person. If I have got a problem with my ears, I need to go to an ENT specialist. I can't really go to Vivekji and ask, what can I do with my ear? It won't help me, Asking for advice from parents is good, but it depends upon what it is that you are looking to get advice for. Sometimes parents are so attached to you that they wouldn't be able to have a neutral stance, But it's your life. You need to be able to understand what exactly is to be done, and if parents don't see your angle, how to help them to see it. You see? Yeah.
I guess just going off what you just said, then how do you pursue your own goals when your parents have different goals for you, and how do you do that without being disobedient? Because we're always taught to be respectful, to be obedient of our parents, but when does it come time for us to say, no, we know our goals, these are our goals, and how to separate that from our parents' ideals?
You see, parents mean well, and they always want for you to be happy. But sometimes their desire for your happiness is based on their own projection of what they want you to do, which is not fair, of course. I would say that you need to really be very clear of what you want out of your life. If you are very clear and you are practical and your decision is intelligently made, you need to give time to your parents, but you have to be firm. What you want is what you want, and that's your life. However, if you are making that decision based on emotional attitude, then it may backfire on you. So you have to be very grounded in understanding of what it is that you want. But be firm. You must not allow anything or anybody to deter you from going after your goal, so long as it is a healthy and good goal. If you are honest and if you are sincere and if you are capable, Just be grounded and follow it. And pursue the parents lovingly and firmly. Love and firmness are very crucial. But don't allow anybody or anything to distract you if you really want it so much. I have followed that, and I'm telling you, it's your life. Nobody can live your life for you. You cannot live another person's life for them. So it's your life, you decide. If you make a mistake, own it. Because and it's not, the mistake is a lesson. It's not really a loss. But you have to extract the right essence of the lesson and use it as a stepping stone to go forward in life. Don't let it deter you and make you discouraged. Lessons are always to be learned from losses. That's why I say that a loss is a good thing to happen. There is a sect of Buddhism. I'll come to somebody who has raised the hand. Just give me a minute. In one sect of Buddhism, these Buddhist saints, every morning when they get up, they pray to God to give them challenges. Now, what kind of prayer is that? We want a smooth life. They are looking for challenges. The reason behind their looking for challenges is that unless you get a challenge, you are not evolving, right? You may be reaping the fruits of your previous actions to have a smooth period of time. But life is meant to be here. We are living this life because we are required to evolve and learn the lesson. That's why there is that philosophical perspective. In regular colleges, first you take a lesson, then you get a test, right? But in real life, first you get a test and then you extract a lesson, right? So once you extract that lesson and use that not to repeat that mistake or repeat that lesson, you are promoted to the next one and the next one and the next one. And when all the lessons during this contract of life are finished, even if you want to live, you cannot live. You are born with so many numbers of breaths. The last breath taken, finished, gone. So use this life to learn the lessons and go on. Don't get stuck anywhere. Yes, somebody was asking there.
Before your mother passed away, what was the most important thing that she taught you?
My mother taught me exactly this, that don't allow anything or anybody to deter you from pursuing your goal. And be honest and truthful about whatever you do. I remember when I was little, we used to have a sand bank, so to speak. And one day, a couple of my little friends and myself, we were playing, and I found a coin of money. And I was most fascinated. Wow, I found money. And then I went to my mom and I said, I found money. Mom said, go and put it back where you found it. Why? It's mine. I found it. Mom said, what doesn't belong to you, you should never take it. Okay? Never pick up anything that doesn't belong to you. It's not just the thing. It applies to every aspect of life. Also, I remember that when we were so many children, but the younger ones, my mom would be cooking, my dad would be coming from his shop. We all would, as soon as it's 6 o'clock in the evening, wherever we are, playing and all that, we must come back, wash our hands and feet, and then we would sit in the kitchen. My mom would be cooking, and she would teach us how to do the prayers, and we would pray together. I didn't understand the meaning, but I learned how to pray. And those prayers have been with me all the time. That has brought me strength. And so the lesson I have learned from my mom is that be true to yourself, follow your virtues, believe in God, and do what you think is right for you to do. And I have not failed. I have made mistakes, but I know that I made mistakes because I had not known better. After I learned the lesson, I know better. And then life has just gone on. Yes, please.
So we're here studying holistic habits and how to purify our mind using habits. Are there one or two habits from Vedanta that you do on a daily basis that you feel really enrich your life?
Yes, praying is a habit that really helps me to remain grounded. Especially at times when I find that no matter how hard you work, no matter how sincerely you conduct yourself, there are certain set of circumstances where there is no appreciation, no acknowledgement, no clear path to follow. At that time, rather than succumbing to the self-pity or sorrow, if you start to pray to God, what it means is that we are automatically uplifted from that hole within which we may get sucked, right? So by praying to God, we are slowly uplifted and we connect with the divine. And that divine is within ourselves only. So the smoke of emotional cover, which blinds us, gets dispersed, and we are able to then see life more clearly. We are able to be rational. You see, emotional experiences blind us to the rational way of thinking. You understand what I'm trying to say here? Emotions are created when we give energy to the thought and become very passionate. So thoughts are flowing in the mind through the memory bank, okay? It's a very scientific process. I wish I had another session with you. I could explain to you how we extract the thoughts from the memory bank by connecting, visualizing, etc. And when some memory triggers a specific passion in us through that thought, the smoke of emotion starts to veil, so to speak, cover the thought. So our intellect is blinded by the emotion. That's why I would say it is healthy to be sensitive, but not healthy to be sentimental. Sentimentality makes us lose the focus of being rational. And it's very crucial to remain rational, but not clinical. Is if you are rational in life, you are able to think clearly and make sense about things. But if you are becoming clinical, you do not allow your intuitive and pure self to be humanistic. I hope I'm making sense here. So it's good to be humanistic, it's good to be sensitive and understand realities, but if we become emotional, then we are not able to make sense about things and we get carried away. And when we are emotionally carried away, we are losing the ground. So to speak, we become imbalanced, so to speak. So I would say stay away from being too sensitive and emotional. Love is an emotion, but true love is not an emotion. True love is a state of being, not becoming. This is very deep and very, very important to understand. True love is unconditional. It's not a business. It's not a transaction. If you love me, then I'll do this for you. You know, if you send me the right SMS, then I'm going to be happy with you. But if you didn't send me the SMS at the right time, or you didn't respond to my expression of love, then something is not right. All these are garbage-related emotions, and we need to stay away from that. You know, it really blinds us to the clarity-oriented way of living. Stay away from that. This is a trap. It's a web. One more. Burning desire for liberation. How does it come about? This is a very, very deep question. You know, how many of you have studied Tattva Bodha? There are the fourfold qualifications needed to be a Vedanta student, a true Vedanta student. What are the fourfold qualifications? Louder. Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti, and Mumukshutvam. Viveka means having the sense of discrimination. That's why God has given us the ability to rationalize. That sense of discrimination comes from the instrument of intellect. Vairagya is detachment. Detachment can be people who misinterpret the word detachment become clinical. Being clinical means you are not affected by anything at all. So you become thick-skinned. But, if you are human, you should not be thick-skinned. You may think, what is she talking about? What I'm trying to say is that if you are a human being, you owe it to the world to be humane. So it is your nature, it is your intricate nature to be humanistic. So you have to be sensitive to feel somebody else's pain. But then you will get the opportunity to be compassionate. That empathy will arise in being able to understand and feel the pain of the other. Saints always do that. When saints meet with somebody who is in pain, tears will come out of their eyes. Then somebody who doesn't understand, a true saint will say, "What? I thought he was a saint. He's not supposed to cry." That is not true, you see. But those tears are different kinds of tears. It's not out of pity, they are out of compassion. So that is Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti. There is a sixfold wealth of Shama, Dhamma, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, and Samadhan. These are very technical terms. You need to learn to do that if you want to have a true taste of the cognac of Vedanta. Okay? So, that doesn't mean I drink, cognac. Don't miss it. It's so to speak. Okay, and Shat Sampati Mumukshutvam, that is the word that you are referring to. Mumukshutvam, that is the burning desire for liberation. That burning desire makes one so focused in considering only the true freedom important. Nothing else is as important as that. That will come only when we have got a true kick in the butt. When we haven't had that kick, we think life is more precious and attractive. Until I lost my mom, I didn't know the meaning of death. I got that kick in the butt through the death of my mom that really propelled me to go and search the meaning of the life and death and journey of the soul, etc. So when we come across that sense of loss, if we allow ourselves to be buoyant, so to speak, and allow us to surface in the ocean of the world and rise above and learn to swim and keep on swimming, knowing that there's going to be the end at the end of the ocean, we are going to reach that, and that is the freedom spot. You see what I'm saying? I used a metaphor, but what I'm trying to say here is that if you are really, really sincere and clear about your goal in life, whether to be a physician or a musician, doesn't matter. That is only a worldly goal. But if you want to honestly pursue your life as a good human being, just hold on to your virtues, hold on to your true self, and do whatever is needed to be done. Freedom is bound to come. You don't have to come and wear these kinds of clothes. You don't have to be sitting on the pulpit and give lectures. None of that matters. What matters is being true to yourself, doing the right thing at the right time, all the time. You will reach the freedom at the end of the journey. Thank you.